if you want to say that I was a drum major. Say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness.
I was 10 years old when my father was killed, but at the time of his funeral, I fully realized the impact and importance of what my father was trying to do: create a world of freedom, justice, and equality for all.
It is our hope and prayer that we as a nation take a moment to reflect and remember not only Martin Luther King Jr., but most importantly, remember the principles that he stood for. This April 4th, we rededicate ourselves to eradicating the triple evils of racism, poverty, and violence.
Martin Luther King embodied the spirit of equality that opened hearts and minds.
A leader who preached so powerfully that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that.
Dr. King gave his life seeking to build the beloved community for all people in the United States and around the world.
Now more than ever, it is important that we inspire each other to embrace a role in the King legacy.
Being an activist means being outspoken because your voice represents a lot of people. These are the values I learned from Dr. Martin Luther King.
I fully share Dr. King's belief that the arc of the moral universe is long, but that it bends towards justice.
And we are honored to light a candle in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
for his courage to ask life's most persistent question: one, what we do for others.
All of us share Dr. King's vision of the beloved community where people choose to love over hate, fairness over poverty, and peace over violence.
We can look at this day as a Reconstruction Day. I believe it is a day of reflection. How can I fulfill the dream? How can I be a contributor? How can I be an activist?
We must stand up to oppression, bigotry, and violence against our communities.
We commit ourselves to carrying out his pursuit of an economy that rewards all work.
We recommit ourselves to building the nation he dared to envision by continuing his fight for voting rights and equality.
And we commit to building a better and more equal world.
We can take Dr. King's dream of a guaranteed minimum income for all Americans and make it a reality in the days to come.
Dr. King's principles of nonviolence have inspired me in my fight to end gun violence.
And that is won through achieving peace, through advancing justice, and the further building of the beloved community.
We honor Dr. King by pledging to never lose sight of his dream.
It is my honor to light this candle as I proclaim that I am a drum major for peace, justice, and equity.
I am a drum major for peace, justice, and equity.
Dr. King changed the world. He shed blood that opened the doors of America, giving us the right to vote, giving us the right to public accommodations, giving us the right to stand up.
Today we honor the legacy of a visionary leader, one who committed his life to eradicating the evils of racism, poverty, and war.
Dr. King made such a difference for our nation and world, and we must never forget his life's work.
His example of love, service to others, and philosophy about nonviolence is even more relevant today in these times.
We must love one another or die.
Dad told us in his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, that we had a choice to make. I believe that humankind will choose community. And that's what we are promoting through the Drum Major Institute.